What a summer it should be. ABC Sports touring America and journeying across the sea to bring you the great golf championships of the world. The U.S. and British Opens, the PGA Championship, the Women's Open, and the U.S. Amateur. A summertime of golf to remember. This is Boston. It's one of America's great cities, full of history and energy and special character. It's a city of great universities and smart politicians and Beacon Hill and Bunker Hill. And it's a city that loves sports. Some of its citizens have headed up the road this weekend for a sports event of note. They have come to the Salem Peabody area, a beautiful section, also known for one of the dark chapters in American history. In a 6-month period in 1692, 300 women were tried and convicted as witches. 19 of them were hanged before the madness was stopped. The occasion this weekend is a much pleasanter one. In the hot summer sun at the Salem Country Club, the finest women golfers in the land have gathered for the 1984 U.S. Women's Open Golf Championship. The last time it was held on this course, the winner was the great Babe Didrikson Zaharias. The Babe had been operated on for cancer the previous year and was attempting a comeback in the Open. She was weak, but fought her way through the championship, including 36 holes on the final day and won by 12 strokes. She had been the youthful sensation of the 1932 Olympics in Los Angeles, winning 2 golds and a silver. Later, she tried her hand at many sports, but in golf, she discovered her true love. Now, another generation of women golfers comes to the Salem Country Club, and one of them will emerge as the U.S. Women's Open Golf Champion. ABC Sports presents a national championship conducted by the United States Golf Association. Today from the Salem Country Club in Peabody, Mass., it's the final round of the United States Women's Open Golf Championship. The final day of play, and going into the final 18 holes, these were the co-leaders, Amy Alcott, a former champion, and Donna Horton-White. The leaderboard, who was close behind them? Well, several were. Rosie Jones by a single stroke. Then Ayako Okamoto, Hollis Stacy, a 2-time champion, former champion, Betsy King, Lori Garbisi, Penny Pultz. Current leader? Well, it's Amy Alcott, all by herself, but not by much. It's a co-leader, as a matter of fact. Got slight change in the standings again. They've been back and forth all afternoon. Amy Alcott and Donna White, the same two who started this day in first place, are still there. Joint leaders. Once again, Alcott and White, 1 stroke behind. Still, Rosie Jones, Betsy King, Lori Garbisi. As you can see, it's pretty much the same as it was. As for the second page, maybe some interested in some of these too. Okamoto is dropping down the leaderboard, as a matter of fact. Pat Bradley, a local favorite here in Massachusetts, playing well, but not quite well enough, it looks like. Beth Daniel, one of the big names, and so forth. I'm Jim McKay, reporting from our position behind the 18th tower with our golfing expert, Dave Marr, who yesterday, you may have been with us, decided to be a boxing expert and predicted that Wilfred Martinez, I believe the word was possibly Benitez, I don't follow boxing, would destroy,
really neither do I.
would destroy Davey Moore, and I think your man Benitez lasted to what, 118 to the second round?
He almost got through 2 rounds, Jim, so I'll try to go back to golf today.
Shoemaker, as they say, stick to thy last. Let's talk golf. And what about the golf course itself here and the preparation of it for a major championship?
Jim, there's been a lot of articles written this week about, and the members have been worried about the not watering of the greens, and they're turning a little brown, and they're going to lose them and all that. I really think that's just a bunch of jazz. The golf course is in perfect condition. It's cut down, prepared for a championship as far as the fairways and the greens are concerned. I don't feel a golf course should look emerald green, as was quoted in the paper today. It should have a little brown tinge to it. They've got to watch it. They've got to syringe them a little bit, but that's the way the best players can play shots that they're able to play. I hate to see golf courses that look, as Frank Hannigan said, a cemetery green where the grass is long and people play winter rules anyhow. They roll the ball over. This is the way to have a golf course, and they ought to keep more of them this way, less water. Now, one reason it's looking a little brown is because of the weather. It's
a little hot for New England.
Very hot, very muggy, as you see there.
92 degrees, 38%, they say. It feels a lot muggier than that, however, on any portion of this golf course today. You can see by the trees in the background that the wind is stirring, but just a bit, nothing like the gusty wind we had yesterday. Sitting now with Rhonda Glenn, our other expert of the weekend, fine amateur golfer, expert writer on the sport of golf, and you've been following
very much the people involved here.
Yes, Jim, and I've always maintained that Amy Alcott could be really one of the truly classic players in the game of golf. She's one of the best new young players, although she's not that new. She's been out here for a long time, but she's young. She is a classic shot maker, and I'm not surprised at all to see her at the top. But Donna Horton-White is on a hot streak. Betsy King is doing well, and Rosie Jones absolutely got ready for this tournament at a farm in upstate New York milking cows last week. So she could do anything.
Everybody has their own way of preparing for these championships. Right now, let's take a look at some of the pairings that we have, the final four groups, and as a matter of fact, playing just two together this day, as they do in United States Golf Association Championships. Penny Pulse was with Lori Garbassi. Lori had 74, 76, 72, but she just keeps hanging in there and has been moving up the leaderboard a little bit. So we'll be keeping an eye on them. Hollis Stacy has been having her troubles today, a two-time former champion. Betsy King is very much still alive. She had an eagle on a par 4 hole just a little while ago. That's that pairing. Then we have Ayako Okamoto and Rosie Jones. Now, Judy Rankin, one of the all-time great players, is out there on the fairways with this pair. Moving along, we have the final group, Amy Alcott and Donna White, who are paired with each other today. And with them, our man Bob Rosberg, former PGA golf champion. So here is a look at the golf course, some of the crowd gathered around, and at the back nine. There's only 1 yard difference in yardage between the front nine and the back. Par 36 on each side for a total par of 72. So that's the situation here at the Salem Country Club. As far as numbers are concerned, as far as the way it sits on the golf course, there you see the back nine as the holes go around there, ending up by the clubhouse at 18. Right now we're going to go to the 10th hole. We will be following the final group all the way through the back nine today. 10th hole, par 4, 387 yards. There you see it, and just a little bit of breeze bothering the flag right now.
It's hard to feel there in the trees, Jim. When you drive down in the fairways, Okamoto's down playing 10, I assume, right now. She had to walk over there because of the little mound that sort of blocks off the shots she's had. Actually, you want to be today from where the pin is in the left side of the 10th fairway.
It is the 10th hole for sure. Trees just about everywhere on this golf course, although the fairways are reasonably wide. It's not as if you're hitting down narrow corridors, but they are there and can be a factor.
They're narrow enough when you're under pressure. All right, it's one thing sitting there looking at it, but you get generous with the room. But if you hit a real wild shot, you can be in deep trouble.
Rosie Jones, the playing companion of the day for Okamoto, has already hit and is on the green safely. Okamoto, a regular on United States Women's Tour, is regularly followed by Japanese reporters all along the tour. Look at this. Look at that.
Great shot, Jim. Just shot right at the flag there, and it's tucked away in the back right corner. That's man-sized stuff there.
I want to tell you. Okamoto built rather powerfully, actually, for a Japanese lady, isn't she?
She is. She's taller than most Japanese women. She's a great athlete, and she is a big, big star in Japan. She can't even put her nose out the door without having flashbulbs pop over there.
There you see them, Alcott and Jones now tied for the lead. White has bogeyed the 9th hole. That's what had us confused there a little bit going back a ways. But we have Alcott and Jones tied for the lead. White and King and Garbassi right there. Now, Bob Rosberg has been with this pairing. As a matter of fact, I think that Amy got a bogey and there was a double bogey. Is that right, Bob?
That's right. Donna hit her drive in the trees and had to play out and then put her third in the bunker and made a good blast, but missed about a 10-footer. Amy hit a good drive and a bad second and left it short of the green, chipped up about 8-10 feet and missed it.
Have you had the feeling at all that they're beginning to feel U.S. Open pressure?
Well, I think they're starting to look at the scoreboards.
Take a little look here at Amy's swing. She has a very, very short backswing, and when she gets to the top of the swing, which now that's about as far as she goes back, what we'd call a three-quarter swing. When she makes bad shots is when she gets too short. We'll see Donna Horton there.
That's the live picture of Donna Horton-White's tee shot on the 10th hole, coming off a double bogey on 9, and there you see it, safely on the fairway. Donna Horton-White fighting it out for the U.S. Women's Open Golf Championship. Jack Whitaker will do much of the commentary here today, and he has some thoughts for us right now.
It is perhaps a happy coincidence that in this historic week, when the first woman was named to be nominated for Vice President of the United States, that the USGA would hold the Women's Open Golf Championship. Symbolic that they would pick the Salem Country Club in the Massachusetts Bay Colony, in a community that used to hang women as witches 300 years ago. Symbolic for another reason, too, because 30 years ago at the Salem Country Club, the Geraldine Ferraro of golf made history and opened wide the door for women in this great sport. Babe Zaharias won her third of 3 Open championships here at Salem in 1954. She won it by 12 strokes. That's a record that will still be standing this evening when sunset gilds the harbor at Marblehead. She did it 15 months after an operation for cancer, the unplayable disease that finally defeated her 2 years later. But before the Babe had putted out, she had pointed the way. And the Patty Bergs and the Betsy Rawls and all the stars down the years have made women's golf a very healthy thing. Those early women did not have an easy time of it. There was no money, and the problems that beset the men's tour beset them too. The gypsy existence and the loneliness of the golf tour hits women much more strongly than it does men. But they persevered, and today women's golf is a very vibrant thing. All these ideas are very much alive here at the Salem Country Club this week, and they give this championship a bewitching quality. This championship that's being held in the little New England village that has seen the worst and the best of the American and human character.
Well said, Jack. Again, a look at that leaderboard. Now, again, it's Alcott and Jones tied for the lead as we head into the back 9. White and King and Garbassi 1 stroke behind, 2 strokes behind. Hollis Stacy, who's getting back into it again. She had started to drop back. This is Rosie Jones with a long birdie attempt on the 10th hole, looking for her first win since becoming a professional. And she's going to have a little problem making a par here. Tied for the lead, but in trouble is Rosie Jones. We're at the Salem Country Club in Peabody, Massachusetts. It's the U.S. Women's Open. We still have joint leaders in the U.S. Women's Open because Rosie Jones made that difficult par putt. Now let's go to Amy Alcott out on the fairways. For the commentary, Jack Whitaker.
All right, thank you, Jim. If you were handicapping this, you'd have to think Amy was a good bet because she plays well in the heat. Remember Nashville?
Mm-hmm.
I think
Sure
I'm
do.
glad I missed Nashville for all the stories.
It was pretty desperate.
Searing, huh?
Mm-hmm. Steaming.
Here she is at the par 4 10th. And Rossi, she shouldn't have any difficulty with this other than the blind part of it, huh?
It was a very, very difficult pin placement here today. Definitely the hardest on the course. On the 10th hole, I should say. But she has a shot of about 170 yards, and I would think she'd come in here with maybe a 3/4 4-iron or a hard 5. But the way she plays, I'd go for the 3/4 4.
Uphill.
She's going to have to bounce it short of the green to get it close. She's hooked it. It's not a very good shot. In the left-hand rough, short of the green.
That's what she has left.
She really has a fairly easy pitch, though. She's got about 40 feet of green and about 10 feet of fringe, and she has a good lie.
Has she been playing well, or is it tentative, or what, Bob?
Well, she hasn't played real great. She hasn't made any birdies, and when you don't make birdies, you got to make bogeys in the USGA championship. They're just going to come.
All right, here's Donna White now. 1 shot behind.
She's going to have to get up.
And that's what she'll have left. This is a par 4, the 10th hole, 387 yards, and the second shot uphill. Both Alcott and White short. Alcott in the rough. Here are some scores of some top players that you were sure are interested in. A lot of former champions there. Jan Stevenson, the defending champion. Geraldine Bridge, Joanne Carner. Donna Capone. Salem Country Club has taken its toll of some of the bigger names on the women's circuit. This is videotape. Rosie Jones at 11. Her tee shot. and comes back into the fairway. Have you met Miss Jones? Born on Friday the 13th, seventh of a family of 8 children, and along with Ed Sneed, the only graduate of Ohio State playing professional golf. Co-leader right now with Amy Alcott. As we look at the 2-page leaderboard, 3 over is leading at the moment. Now back to the 10th hole and the 3rd shot of Amy Alcott. She's in that left rough. This rough has been kind of, would you say ununiform, David, or?
It's a little spotty, but it's, you know, you can get a good break or a bad one, just like any other championship.
This is Betsy King for birdie. That would tie her. And she'll take par and remain 1 shot off the lead. Now back to the 10th and Amy. From the rough, her 3rd shot on the par 4.
I think that surprised her, Jack, that it checked up so fast there. And that happens sometimes out of rough when you feel that the ball may squirt a little. You catch it very cleanly, and it acts like a regular shot, like a normal shot.
So she is fighting it now. She bogey on the last hole, and that left for par here. Now Donna White. A little more simple shot, going uphill. Well, she'll have to work too. Now here is Rosie Jones, the other co-leader at the 11th hole. Her 2nd shot. Here it is. A dogleg left, 362 yards. No particular problem with this, Judy, it looks like.
No, Rosie's driven the ball perfectly. The pin's in the back, which should give her room to stop the ball. I just watched Betsy King play a miraculous shot out of the rough and sit the ball down very gently. But once again, the ball sat down very well.
Sure did. Very quietly. Looks to be she has 30 feet. Now back to the 10th. Amy Alcott, this long putt for par to hold a share of the lead. So 2nd bogey in a row for Amy Alcott. It drops her out of the lead to +4. As Amy falters just a bit here at the turn. We're looking down there at Donna White. A little earlier today, Rhonda Glenn talked with Amy Alcott and our man Donna White, so let's eavesdrop on that.
I've never seen you more relaxed at a golf tournament. You look like you feel good. You look like you're in a great state of mind. Why is that?
I really don't know. I just feel very peaceful about my entire life. I'm happy, I'm content being a mother, a golfer, a wife. Everything seems to be falling into place, and I don't know, I just really have enjoyed playing this year. I think I'm more adjusted to traveling with Kristen, and she's getting older now, so it is a lot easier. I don't have to stuff diapers in my golf bag and formula every week. It's now Barbie dolls and Cabbage Patch dolls, but you know, I think everyone, Mike and Mom and Baby, we've all just seemed to adjust to it a little bit better this year.
Donna White, but she bogeys the 10th here, along with Amy Alcott, leaving Rosie Jones now, our leader, by herself. This is the 12th hole, par 3 of 142 yards. We have Hollis Stacy and Betsy King. There's Betsy, just 1 stroke off the lead. She has been second 4 times.
Get on the stick. Get on the stick.
It's right on the stick. Oh my, what a shot, huh? Wouldn't that have galvanized this place if it had gone in?
For her. Jack, she has really improved her game. I played an exhibition with Betsy and Lee Trevino some years ago, and I really wondered if she could make it. Rhonda, you said yesterday she did something, changed her game. What'd she do?
Well, I'm not the expert, Dave, but just to my eye, it looked like she got rid of a slight reverse pivot that she used to have, and it made her sort of an inconsistent player. As you know, sometimes you're catching the ball on the upswing, sometimes on the downswing, but she doesn't have that anymore, and now she's just powerful.
She's in there almost every week.
Well, she sure put a beautiful shot up here at the 12th hole. We're looking at the leader now. Rosie Jones playing with Okamoto. As Rosie has improved, Okamoto has gone down. Judy, what's been the trouble with her?
Well, I think she's really played pretty well, tee to green.
Putter?
Her scoring has been lost around the green. She made a double bogey from off the edge of the green at the 4th hole. And on the 6th hole, she hit the ball over the green and made a bogey, and that was a par 5. And Okamoto being a very long hitter, she doesn't expect to go out and bogey par 5s.
She's dropped down now to +7, 4 shots off the lead. Playing with the surprising leader at the moment, Rosie Jones.
I tell you, Rosie Jones is such a fighter that for Rosie, it won't be over until it's over.
She's a very confident young lady. Right on line, just a bit short. She has that for par. And a lot of her experience done in Europe. We're back at the 12th hole. Betsy King now for birdie and a share of the lead. Twice she's had that opportunity in recent holes. Rosie Jones made her par and still maintains now a 1-stroke lead from Amy Alcott, Betsy King, and Lori Garbisi in the final round of the United States Women's Open, and we'll be back.
Well, the whole town's talking about the Jones girl in Peabody, Mass. She's leading the United States Women's Open Golf Championship with just a few holes left to play, but only by a slender stroke over Amy Alcott, Betsy King, and Lori Garbisi. Lori has been lurking for 3.5 days here and is still very much in it. There you see some of the others who do not seem to be contenders at this point, and some of the big names in golf. Kathy Whitworth, for example, still trying for her first U.S. Women's Open Championship, well into her 40s, one of the great names in the history of the sport, but apparently she isn't going to make it again this year. Joanne Carner, another of the greats there. Here is Amy Alcott on the 11th fairway, the 11th hole, 362-yard par 4. Just a while ago, Sandra Haney, who was a contender, look at this. Fine shot by Amy. Sandra Haney took a 9 here. Sandra started the day at 7 over. She is now 20 over. She's 13 over for the day. That's how tough it can be out here.
It's a high score for a player as good as she is.
Oh, yeah.
On any hole.
Again, a look at the leaderboard. You see Hollis Stacy sneaking back into it again. It looked like she had just about played herself out. Now she's only 2 strokes out. But there is the leader, Rosie Jones. The pressure on her as never before. Rhonda talked to her a little bit earlier today.
Your attitude toward golf was somewhat different when you were going to college than many players. You were not a golf fanatic, were you?
Well, no, you know, I grew up in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and just played almost year-round there, and my attitude got really bad when I was in high school, so I picked a college up in Ohio State and decided to go somewhere where I wouldn't have to play year-round, well, I got 4 or 5 months break there instead of the 2 months. But I think it turned out, for me, a better experience and a good adventure there.
Rosie does have a different philosophy at this game. You know, most kids from the north go south so that they can play all the time in college. She came north so she wouldn't have to play as much. And you said there, Rhonda, that she's prepared for this tournament by going to some friends' farms in upper New York State and milking cows.
There'll be a lot of people milking cows next week if she wins.
That's right.
You ever milked one?
No.
You don't want to, all right?
You mean you have?
I've milked a cow.
Got to hear about
Just
that.
because you're a city slicker from Baltimore.
Well, what do you call Houston, the wide open spaces?
Well, it was a little bumpkin town when I was born.
Lori Garbasy with this to tie for the lead at the 13th hole. She sure had a good effort, but slid it past. Lori Garbasy, 25 years old. She'll be 26 next month. How about a little something about her, Rhonda?
Well, Lori is a real emotional player, and she's managed to kind of tamp on those emotions.
There's Amy. And she's got it. Birdie for Amy Alcott to tie her for the lead again with Rosie Jones. And the expression changes just a hair, just a little bit. Now Garbasy on the left. Lori. Also at 4 over, 1 shot out of the lead. This for a par. That was not too good for Rosie. But Lori gets her par and hangs in there. Still a shot out of the lead behind the co-leaders, Alcott and Jones. Should there be a playoff, it will be, as is the custom in USGA championships, at 18 holes tomorrow. And ABC Sports would be here.
Jim, I've noticed a number of these young players that we thought were so emotional before, this week are sort of coming into their own. I guess a number of them are maturing at about the same time, but they come out on the tour fresh out of college and they're excited about all of this. And of course, excitement is one thing you can't afford to have on the golf course. You have to be calm. And I think Lori's a good example of a person who has overcome that inner excitement, at least this week. And another one is Betsy King. She has managed to conquer her own overexcited feelings, and she's playing very well.
Consistency and hanging in there is it when you get to any U.S. Open. This is no doubt the most difficult course that the women will play all year, as evidenced by the fact that nobody is under par. It's tough.
It's a great golf course, though, Jim. Gosh, it's just got such a variety of shots and dog legs, lefts and rights, and blind shots.
Hollis just knocked it in the hole at the 13th hole from the fairway, actually from the right rough.
Okay, that was Judy Rankin out on the fairway.
Saves her putting, doesn't it, Judy?
For a what, Judy?
She was in the right rough. She had to play a shot underneath the trees.
Okay, 4 or 2. Well, there was Rosie Jones safely down, remaining joint leader at 3 over. Now, there is Hollis Stacy. Hollis with the shot. She started the day 5 over, was still 5 over until this. Until this. Look at this. Wow. Whew. Oh, dear.
It's just like Hollis, isn't it?
Does that get you back in the ball game? Suddenly, Hollis Stacy is tied for the lead.
You remember yesterday how many putts she missed coming down the stretch? I mean,
well, she found another way.
If you hold it out, you can sure keep that putter back in that bag where it belongs.
I think she heard you say that yesterday, Dave, because this morning she told me she conquered that putter, and I ought to tell you.
Good.
Beth Daniel at 18, one of the fine players on the women's tour. Beth started the day at 9 over. She is still 9 over. And if she makes that, we'll finish at 9 over for the championship with an even par round of 72 for today. Well, there were those who thought she might come out here and start rattling off Women's Open championships, but It takes time.
She's a good player.
Yeah.
Good, strong player. She came right out and won tournaments and a lot of money right away.
Remember last summer she had to withdraw from the Women's Open with back problems. Those have continued to plague her, and she's had a real problem, but is just now getting better.
Look at the leaderboard then. A triple tie for the lead, and not that many holes left. Amy Alcott, former champion. Hollis Stacy, twice Women's Open champion. Rosie Jones looking for her first professional win. Now Amy Alcott on the 12th hole, 142-yard par 3. Well bunkered. The green elevated a bit, but aside from that, fairly straightforward.
Beautiful looking little hole with a little creek that should not come into play down there, but we'll play a little right to left type shot in here with the flag in the left.
Better come down.
Well, it didn't quite come down, Bob, just off the back into the second cut. So she'll have a bit to do to get down in par 3 there, to stay into the triple tie for the lead. Now, Betsy King is only 1 shot behind. Should she make this putt, she will be tied for the lead, and we could have a 4-way situation. Lori Garbassi is still in it. So is Donna White. So is Penny Pultz.
May have to get a starting time for tomorrow if all these people die. I wonder what they'd do if they had a 6-player tie or something. We're going to play 6-ems. Maybe Frank Hannigan would enlighten us if there's more than 4.
Well, here was
3.
Hollis just a moment ago taking the ball out of the cup after an eagle 2 on a par 4 hole. Frank Hannigan of the United States Golf Association is with us as always today. What would you do if you had 5 or 6?
We have never had a playoff with more than 3.
I didn't ask you that.
If we would play, I suspect what we would play 4 together, but I think if we had 5, we would play 3 and 2. But let's not pray for that.
Okay. Betsy King now has that for the par 4 to remain just a shot behind.
David, what about Hollis Stacy? After making an eagle like that and such an exciting one, is that going to get her really so up that it might hurt her game?
I think Hollis has enough experience to where now she's got time while she's waiting for Betsy here to finish the hole. That, hey, I've got to calm down. I'm now in a tie for the lead. Let me just go on. You can't get excited about it. That's done. Now let's go on and finish it best we can.
See that?
Ooh, I sure did.
Ooh. Also seems to me I've seen Hollis when something like that just gets her pumped up and she keeps going.
She's a very aggressive player, very smooth swing, and she's won twice, so it's something that she's done, and she's playing ahead too, which is good, ahead of the leaders, the ones she's tied with.
So we've got T for 3 here at the moment. Alcott, Stacy, and Jones. None of them playing together. Betsy King 1 behind. Garbassi 1 behind. White and Pultz 2 behind. Now back to the problem that Amy Alcott faces on the par 3 12th hole. She must get down in 2 from this position. What would you suggest, Dave?
Yesterday she did a couple of things that where she was a little closer to the green, but still in the tall grass. At the 9th hole, she putted one out of that from about 40 feet and made it. And then if you remember at 18, she had the same kind of shot and left it about 9-10 feet short and then made that one for her par. This, to me, looks like she's got to chip it, though.
Is it once again the fact of speed, that it's so difficult to judge the speed coming through 3 different cuts of grass?
I would think it is. Of course, the lie dictates what club she can use.
Mm-hmm.
This is obviously one she's going to chip here now.
Yep.
Ball looks as though it's sitting clean, and we just saw some putt here a moment ago. This should break a little left to right. It's the kind of shot you can chip in, Jim.
Mm-hmm.
Players of this caliber, you get aggressive.
Would you mind repeating what you just said?
I said these are the kind of shots you can chip in because you're pitching uphill, it's left to right.
That was not on videotape.
I think
A live shot of Amy Alcott chipping into the hole for a birdie 2, taking the lead yet again in the Women's Open Golf Championship. Rosie Jones now, little knowing that she has fallen a stroke behind. Still playing steadily, though.
Oh, nice shot.
And safely on the green. So on we go, and this is shaping up to be a pretty exciting afternoon at the Salem Country Club.
This is Rosie Jones for a birdie to try and join Amy Alcott as co-leader once more. Well, most decent tournaments don't begin till Sunday afternoon in the back nine, and things are beginning to happen here. We've had Hollis hole one out to join the parade. After 2 bogeys, Amy comes back with 2 birdies. One's a chip in. So things might be happening. Rosie Jones for birdie to take a share of the lead. Oh, yes, indeed, things are happening here. Rosie, the Jones girl, co-leader with Amy Alcott at +2. That was at 14, Lori Garbisi, and she'll have that left for par to remain a lurker, ready to pounce. But things are happening quickly here. While that was going on, let us show you on videotape some other action. This is a tee shot of Amy Alcott at 13. And into the right rough over there is. Let's take a look at the leaderboard now to bring us up to date as things are happening so quickly. Amy Alcott, Rosie Jones, 1 stroke behind Hollis Stacy, and then Donna White, Betsy King, Laura Garbisi. Then he pulls, and at 7, the leading money winner on the tour, Patty Sheehan. Bob Rosberg, could you get a look at Amy's lie?
Yes, I did, Jack. She's got a fairly decent lie. The grass is going the way that she wants it to go with her in the rough. And there's enough wind coming out of the left that she can start the ball at the left center of the green or even the left edge of the green and let it go to the right.
Thank you. This is Sally Little at the 18th. Right under the hole, but she's about 40 feet away. And gave it a good try, and it passes by about 4 feet. Playing with Laurie Peterson. And Sally at +18 at the moment. Still on videotape, or now on videotape, this is Hollis Stacy at 14. Her second shot. She's 1 shot off the lead. Par 5. And it looks to be right in the middle of the fairway, and this is what she'll have left. 493 par 5. There's the front of the clubhouse at Salem Country Club. And here is Amy Alcott, the co-leader.
One place you don't want to put it here, Jack, is over the green. She's got a lie that the ball is going to fly, so she has a shot of about 125 yards. I would think she'd take a 9-iron rather than try and play any kind of a little shot. Go ahead and hit it and let it carry a little short of the green maybe and run up, but keep it beneath the hole.
Well, that's a shot that's in her arsenal, isn't it? A little punch shot or a solid. It's down deep in that grass, it looks from here.
Well, her swing is good for this kind of shot, though, Jack. I mean, she's very quick through the hitting area, short back, and very fast there.
She's taking it out. It looks like she took it left, Bob, did she?
Well, but she didn't hit it at all.
No,
she just she took a 9-iron. She was really scared of it flying, and it just didn't go. Left herself a fairly hard chip. I mean, straight uphill, but a little long.
Laurie Garbisi has made her par at the 14th and remain 2 shots behind the leaders. And now at the par 5, Hollis Stacy's 3rd shot at the 14th hole. Hollis now, after that eagle, just one shot behind. Ooh, if that holds up, not a bad shot
Good
at all
shot
for
for
Hollis
where that
Stacy.
pin is.
Yes, indeed. Very good. And she wishes it gone in the hole, I guess.
Well, she's used to doing that, Jack.
It's one easy habit to pick up, isn't it? Now Betsy King at third place. Just 2 shots behind. Betsy playing with Hollis. This is her third shot. It's a fine shot. And the leaderboard may change again. So, all right, our colleague Judy Rankin has a nice little golf tip for you, and we're going to show it to you right now.
This tip stars 2-time U.S. Open winner Hollis Stacy. And here we see Hollis do everything right to hit the ball a long way. Hollis, could you give us a little example of what a person would look like if all they did was turn and no weight shift?
Well, we call that reverse pivot. And you turn, you don't move. You go around like this, then you come up and you hit the ball about a foot above the ground.
And if you did the opposite, if all you did was shift and no turn at all?
You just sway off the ball and you'd move just like this. And you'd probably hit it a very nasty slice.
Well, Hollis is a perfect example of combining these two moves. She has a great turn and shift away from the ball, which helps her to create more club head speed. She has a lot of freedom of movement in the lower part of her body. Want to hit one more for us, Hollis?
I'd love to.
Perfect.
Okay, I'll take that.
The leaderboard at the moment. Co-leaders, Alcott and Jones. Hollis Stacy 1 shot behind. Then White and King and Garbassi. Now this is on videotape. Amy had come up short at the par 4 13th with her second. There's her chip. Well, how's that for par? Back live now. Betsy King for birdie. Tie her with Hollis for second place. Oh. Betsy had 3 really makeable birdie putts there in a row and was not able to do it. This will be for par. Still in it. Now we have Hollis. As we move back to the 13th green and the par putt of Amy Alcott to remain with a share of the lead. This is Hollis on the right, Amy on the left. Hollis has that for birdie at par 5, while Amy's going for par. Oh, nice par, and almost a great birdie there by Hollis. Very fine, strong par there or a strong putt, rather, for a par she very much needed. Amy Alcott, Rosie Jones, co-leaders, and we'll be back.
It was Bob Rosberg on the fairway with Amy.
And she's hit a beautiful shot. Right
Yes,
down
she
the
has.
middle of the fairway.
That is inside a white line. You can see the ground torn up there. That's ground under repair. So you'll have a couple of choices. Frank Hannigan, would you like to explain her choices right now?
Well, the first choice, of course, Jim, would be that she can play the ball as it lies. She doesn't have to take relief. If she Or she can get out of there and drop without penalty.
Okay, now Hollis Stacy.
Come back.
And
Be there.
not a bad shot at all.
That's
Look
a
at that.
great shot.
Fine shot. Hollis just one out, and that sounded like a rebel yell up here in New England. Now Rosie Jones for a par. She's down. She's still 2 over for the championship. 1 under on today's round. She's playing extremely well. Now, at 18, you may have heard applause in the background a minute or so ago. That was when the defending champion, Jan Stevenson, made her walk up to the 18th hole. Now, as you see, she's 14 over for the championship is Stevenson. She's 6 over on today's round. This is her 3rd shot on the par 4. And it's breaking to the right and down the hill a little bit.
Not too bad from that lie, Jim. And she just hasn't been in the tournament this week after the first round and got off with a double bogey start today, and that usually gets you thinking about other places.
There've only been 3 foreign players to win this championship, and she was the most recent last year. Now, Amy Alcott, walking the fairways to victory. Well, we don't know. I believe that's Jim Hand, isn't it? That's
Yes,
the president
it is.
of the USGA walking along with her.
And Judy Bell,
Judy
it looks
Bell.
like.
Oh, yeah, sure, there's Judy. Some of the statistics on Amy Alcott. Career wins, look at that, 19 already, and she's only 28 years old. We're on to talk with Amy a little bit earlier. Let's listen.
Amy, you have a new house now. Does that mean a great deal to you? Your lifestyle has changed a lot?
Yes, it has. It means a lot. This is my first house, and it was actually like winning a golf tournament, because I think everybody who's owned a house has put in bids for it and always thought that they were going to lose it. And I had 4 people bidding on this house, and it was like when they told me they accepted my offer, it was like I'd made a downhill 80-footer and rolled it home, and it's like the tournament was over. You know, it was a great feeling. But yeah, I'll now have a place for my dog and a few of my things, but it's nice to have a home. I think especially when you play on the tour and you live a life of a nomad and you live in a hotel room so much of the time, that it's just nice to have a place to come home to.
Amy Alcott, who 4 years ago won this championship in the cauldron of heat in Nashville. Pretty hot today, but nothing like it was in that year. Here's Donna White. Donna at 4 over, just 2 shots out of the lead, has shared the lead on several occasions since yesterday.
She really didn't have a very good lie to play that shot, Jim. It caught a little fluffy spot, and she was afraid of flying it and kind of got over the top of it. Left it in the left-hand fringe. She's going to have a very fast chip coming down the hill.
And a bad lie, Rossi. She looks like it really sunk down in, as it will do in this bent grass.
It's really going to come out of there hot, probably, isn't it? Or else leave it
One way or the other.
Quickly back to 18 for Jan Stevenson's par putt that would give her a round of 79 today. Not quite. But she has completed 72 holes as the defending champion with honor. 15 over for the tournament. As we said, a 79 today.
Shows you there's no real formula to golf. She tried to prepare for this Open just as she did last year with completely different results.
Now, Amy Alcott is apparently going to play the ball as it lies within the white line.
I'm very surprised at this, Jim. She could drop it back to her right and have a lie where she could really spin the ball. The pin is up front, and she's playing out a not too good a lie.
But that is her option, as Frank Hannigan indicated, under the rules of golf.
Quite a nice-looking shot, though. I guess she knew what she was doing.
She really did, Bob. That's a good shot from there.
So she'll have that for a possible birdie on this par 5 hole. Now, Lori Garbisi almost knocked it in for birdie on the last hole, threw the club in the air when she missed it, but here's her second shot now on par 4 hole. You see the flag blowing, but the wind is not the factor that it was yesterday.
But the pin position is, this is a tough second shot here, Jim. This lady has a lot of talent here. Good swing. Good shot.
There it is. Almost always better to be below the hole than above it, right?
Now, if you're gonna be aggressive, you want to be below it.
And they're having to play to these greens to bounce the ball up, too, because the greens are quite hard, and they couldn't hold it.
I think Laurie gets a lot of spin on it, though. Rhonda, she gets through that hitting area very quickly, and another young lady does the same thing right here.
Now
a lot of
Hollis.
spin on the ball.
Hollis Stacy with a birdie attempt on 15.
Get him.
Well, that for the par 3 to remain at 3 over, 1 shot behind the co-leaders Amy Alcott and Rosie Jones. This thing obviously is going all the way down to the 18th hole. And again, if you've just joined us, if there's a playoff, it will be tomorrow at 18 holes, as is the custom in USGA championships, as we saw in the US Open this year. Let's take a look once again, in case, as I said, you've just joined us. We have a tremendous battle for the U.S. Women's Open Golf Championship. Co-leaders Amy Alcott, who won it 4 years ago. Rosie Jones, who has never won a professional tournament. 1 shot behind. Hollis Stacy, a 2-time Women's Open champion. Then Donna White, looking for her first one, as is Betsy King, as is Laurie Garbassi. Patty Sheehan, the leading money winner on the tour. They're at 6 over, along with Penny Pultz. Betsy King now for a par at the par 3, 15th. Okay, not an easy one, but knocked it in solidly to remain only 2 shots out. But she's beginning to run out of holes. She'll have to depend on others to make mistakes very soon. Very tough to make birdies here. Now Donna White. This is for a par, so she's going to stay in the battle. She needs this. Oh, so close. So that bogey will drop her down to 5 over, and it's going to be tough from here on. Now, more applause here at 18 because it's Kathy Whitworth coming up. Well into her 40s, the most successful woman golfer in many ways of all time, but she's never won the U.S. Women's Open, sharing that, well, not distinction, sharing that sadness with Sam Snead, who never won the Men's Open.
What a player she's been for many years, Jim. And she's even par today, all right?
That's right.
She felt like she had a chance if she'd had a good Saturday.
Birdie attempt for Amy Alcott.
And psychologically a boost, too, with 15, which is a heck of a hard par 3. Give you a little cushion. Hit it.
The par 4 will keep her 2 over for the championship. Even par on today's round. On videotape, Rosie Jones, the other co-leader on the 15th tee, the par 3, 203-yard hole.
Turn, ball, turn.
You heard somebody yell turn, but turn it did not, and there she is, down pretty deep, it looks like, to the right of the green. So, problem for the joint leader.
Kathy Whitworth at the home hole. 7 over in this tournament. Now this for bogey. Well, she also holds another distinction with Sam Snead. They both have won 84 authenticated professional tournaments. Kathy Whitworth, one of the great ones, member of the Hall of Fame, 74 today, finishes 9 over for the tournament. Now, Rosie Jones, co-leader, her second shot at the par 3 15th. This is on videotape. Par 3 out of that deep hole, and by golly, didn't she make something out of that, David?
Jack, that is very impressive. People, you can hit 220-yard drives and 250-yard drives and all that, but to play that kind of shot under that pressure, that's really showing something.
Live, Hollis Stacy, 16th. Second shot. Par 4. Well,
good position.
Got to roll at it. Hollis 1 stroke behind the leaders at the moment. As the skies get ever more sullen every moment here in the west and south. Now let's take a look at the co-leaders. On the left, the young Jones lady. On the right, Amy Alcott. Rosie for par here at the par 3 15th. After that very creative shot, if to create means to make something out of nothing, it's exactly what you did.
Takes a lot of skill and imagination and a little bit of luck to get the kind of lie that you need to play that shot, and she did it. I can't tell you how hard those little pitches and chips are. That's good stuff. Impressive player, this girl.
Yes, indeed. And nice par off the tee shot, and Rosie stays with the share of the lead as Amy watches from the tee.
That little bandage that you see around Rosie's left wrist is something she wears for some tendonitis. She says it doesn't bother her very much, but the bandage is a precaution.
There it is. Our playing partner, Okamoto, for par. And nicely in. This telecast going back to Japan early in the morning over there. As this woman is tremendously popular over there. Now back at the tee. Club selection very important now, I suspect.
Yeah, depends too on the wind. Bob, is wind much of a factor there today?
Not as much as yesterday, Dave, but it is blowing. As we talked about yesterday, the tee is elevated, but Amy has the kind of shot where she should be able to get the ball down off that tee and make it run up. There's plenty of room to run the ball up to the hole here, as on a lot of Donald Ross golf courses.
He gives you a variety of shots you can play, doesn't he? Like she has an iron out now, so you can kind of look for a low, I think, a low right to left shot to use the bank and the contour of the hole to run it into the middle of the green.
Yeah, the only thing about coming right to left, Dave, is the rough comes out on the right, and if she lands it very short with an iron, it's not going to go out of that rough. She's going to have to jump on it, I think, to get there with an iron.
203 yards.
And that ball carried in the rough.
Just what you said, Ross.
It just didn't go at all, but it's not too bad, really. She has a nice little pitch at it.
Now at the 16th, 350 yards, par 4. The other leader, Rosie Jones.
Well, that's a nice looking swing there, huh? Nothing hurried about it.
Well, we haven't seen the ball. Right side of the fairway for Rosie Jones and the tee at 16. There we are. Now up at the green, Hollis Stacy. We last left her. She had just hit the ball where you see it, and she has this for birdie for a share of the lead. She was firm with that putt, David. Right through it. We have 3 people tied for the lead at 2 over. Amy Alcott, Rosie Jones, and Hollis Stacy. Won't you come back and join us for the final hour?
This is Amy Alcott on the 15th green, on the 15th hole, her second shot. She didn't make it to the green. Still tied for the lead, though, with Rosie Jones and Hollis Stacy. Look at fine Fine little shot.
Good shot.
And now Rosie Jones live with her second shot. And she is safely on the putting surface at 16. You see what she's done on this hole previously. Birdied it in the second and third rounds. Rosie Jones, a name you're going to be hearing more of. Probably haven't heard much about her so far because simply she hasn't won a tournament as a professional. Went to Ohio State University, went up there from Albuquerque, New Mexico. Rhonda Glenn talked to her a little bit earlier.
Rosie Jones, you haven't been in this position in the Women's Open before. What would it mean to you to win this championship?
Well, you know, everybody dreams about winning the U.S. Open, and even when I was a little kid, you know, what is the U.S. Open? Well, it's just like tennis and the Wimbledon over in tennis we just watched last week. It means a lot, and it's probably, you know, more than money is involved or, you know, it's just the great golf that you have to play to win the tournament. And the course that it's on, it's always the most challenging. It's the best test of golf for us, and you always want to master that.
Meanwhile, her antagonist at the moment, one of her twin antagonists, Amy Alcott, surveys her par putt on 15. Amy, remember, won this in 1980 at the Richland Country Club in Nashville, Tennessee. She won it by 9 strokes, by the way, over guess who? Hollis Stacy. That's right. Well, it won't be 9 today, no matter who wins.
Jim, you know, it's funny how these really classic Women's Opens that we've seen have almost shaped up into match play toward the end, the real duels, and this looks like another one for sure.
Carefully done, and in the hole, Amy Alcott making a nice, not easy par 3 on the 15th hole, and remaining at 2 over for the championship. The three-way tie continues. Now, another large round of applause at 18 because Pat Bradley and Sandra Haney are coming up here. Pat Bradley, a former U.S. Women's Open champion, is a local favorite here. She's from Massachusetts, was a ski instructor up around here. 5 over on today's round, 12 over for the championship. Sandra Haney, another former champion, started this day 7 over, is now 20 over, having a real tough afternoon. 13 over for the day.
Well,
Sounded like Boston Garden there for a minute.
But that 9 didn't help Sandra any. That'll run your score up, Jim.
Yeah, she did have a 9 on the par. That's Pat Bradley there.
Well, she's having another good year, too.
Yep, she won at the LaGrange Country Club in LaGrange, Illinois, with, in fact, the record score of 279. Now the 16th tee. This, another par 4, 350 yards long. Amy Alcott. She will be the last of the leaders to finish. She'll have the last word, pro or con.
Beautiful drive, Jim, right up the middle of the fairway.
Okay, Bob, there it is. You have a look at it right there. Decent amount of roll.
Didn't get the best of breaks, though. She went over a little crest of the hill and has a downhill lie and has to hit it up in the air to this green.
That's right, very much elevated coming into the 16th green. A good point, Bob. Downhill lie and an uphill green is not that's what you want, is it, Dave?
Very tough, and especially, Bob, you know, she's driven the ball reasonably well, but her iron shots here starting at number 9 haven't been too good.
Now, Rosie Jones. It's going to be a moment. Maybe we can get back to Hollis Stacy here in the 17th fairway. Didn't have all that good a lie there. And there it is. This is a par 5 hole, 500 yards long. Now the birdie attempt of Rosie Jones on 16. Alcott out on the fairway, remember. You can see this.
What a good putt.
Par will keep her at 2 over for the championship. And 1 under for the day for Rosie Jones. to this point. There it is. So it's still Jones, Alcott, and Stacy all tied for the lead, and we're running out of holes in the U.S. Women's Open.
Back at the Salem Country Club in Peabody, Massachusetts, the final round of the United States Women's Open Golf. This is Amy Alcott, one of 3 people who are leading their second shot at the 16th.
Got to get up just a little.
And as she did before, the hole previous, she is just that much short.
That's a pretty good position to be, though.
Well, she can't get in too much trouble from there, I guess, Rossi, can she? So she's still under the hole and can see it. Back on at the 17th tee, rather. This is another one of the leaders. This is Rosie Jones, the old Buckeye. Oh, gee, just split the middle of that fairway, didn't she? She seems to be on a good rhythm right now. And now the other leader, this is on videotape, Hollis Stacy, the 3rd shot at the par 5, 17th. Meanwhile, while that was happening, this is at 18, the local heroine, Pat Bradley, at the home hole. This for birdie. Nice way to finish for Pat Bradley. 76 today, 11 over for the tournament. But the New Englanders love it. Now back to the contenders. This is Hollis at the 17th, just at the back. She started the day with a double bogey, and she's now, what, 3 under for the day. So she's done some mighty playing.
One thing, Jack, if you were going to make a double bogey, you'd sure want it early and not late. At least you have a little time to get something back.
Now, she has gotten it back and more.
I was very surprised her wedge didn't stop any quicker than it did.
It's got a chance. She does look a little bit more positive with that putter today, though, David, doesn't she? Than she did yesterday.
Just a little tentative. Of course, sometimes you make one and that gets you started. It's just so much in your head.
Par at 17 for Hollis, the keeper, +2 to share the lead. She moves over to the 18th tee across the road. We go back now to Amy. She's going to chip this one in, David?
I think she's had her chip in for the day, but this is another chip, and she's been doing a lot of chipping today, as a matter of fact, leaving those iron shots short. That's a nice one there.
She faltered a bit with a bogey at 9 and 10, and then came charging right back with 2 birdies, and that's where we are now as we come down to the final few holes.
'17 is going to be real important, Jack. That's a very birdieable hole there.
She's Donna Horton White, who was a factor yesterday and earlier today. That was for bogey.
No.
Now double bogey here. They put her now at 8. But she gave it a good run. So we're looking really at 3, possibly 4. Laura Garbisi has now reached the home hole. and has a sizable putt of about 35 feet. As we look at Amy, par at 16 to keep that share of the lead. All right. She moves now to the birdieable 17th.
She's really working hard, I tell you, Jack. She's scrambling for those pars.
Here's Garbassi at the 18th. She's 2 shots off the lead. Gave it a good try. She'll have that to stay for and sit down and wait. See what might befall the law firm of Alcott, Stacy, and Jones. Lori Garbassi. Marvelous United States Open for her.
This may set Lori up for some good tournaments now. This will mean a lot to her to have a finish in this championship and to do so well.
Shoot 70 the last round of an Open. Yeah, all right.
A little exuberance.
Oh, she's got a lot of talent, boy. She's a good swinger of the golf club, Jack.
There's the 18th hole from up behind the tee, and you can see the problem here is the fairway, isn't it, David?
It's getting it in the fairway.
Well, it goes right to left like a
Well, if you're going to be in the
pinball
fairway,
machine on tilt, you know.
It seems to me that you want to be, there's not much room on the right-hand side, which looks like where you want to be. If you get a little bit left, it'll run down in the left rough. It's very soft over there. It's hard to get the ball and keep it in the air across that water. It's got to be hard for Amy right now to really keep her mind on it, because the things that run through your mind about, oh, if it just been a better drive it here at the last hole and give yourself a little better chance. Just make as good a stroke as you can, and maybe next year.
Oh, dear. Oh, dear. So that, if she makes the next one, will drop her down into a tie with Lori Garbassi for third place. And that is not quite automatic yet either. Donna White trying to finish up. Donna, who was in a tie for the lead much of this day, is now 7 over for the championship, 5 over for the day. Par being 72. She needs this. Okay. Again, if you're tuned in watching for ABC's World News Tonight, Sunday, that's coming up immediately right after we finish the U.S. Women's Open Golf Championship, and it will finish today. In fact, as far as the championship is concerned, that has been decided. Finishing up, though, Amy Alcott, who was in a tie for the lead starting this final hole and now is trying to remain in the tie for third place. That quickly, the tide can turn in the game of golf. Well done, Amy Alcott, but congratulations to Hollis Stacy, the champ of Savannah GA, winning her third United States Women's Open here at the Salem Country Club. Travel arrangements made through and a promotional fee paid by United Airlines. United flies to Tokyo from more top business centers with 3-class Royal Pacific service. This has been a presentation of ABC Sports. This year, the Olympic tradition continues. Once again, the 1984 United States Women's Open Golf Champion is Hollis Stacy. Next week, the British Open from the old course at St. Andrews. Be with us.